All right, today we're going to talk about grips and grip editing. And I've drawn some shapes here in a I got a line, excuse me. I got a polyline here, rectangle, circle, and an arc. And as you've seen before, when you select an item, you should get these blue grips, is what they are. By default, they should be turned on. If they are not, then I'll show you how to turn them on. And if you hover your mouse over one, you get a grip menu. And depending upon which shape you're selecting, the menu changes. Okay. So I'm just kind of showing you a couple of them here. Come on. Well, it's not showing up on that one. Wow. Okay. So if the grips are not showing or the grip menu is not showing, the way to fix that is go into the program options. So we'll click on the big red A and come down here to options. And on the selection tab, here's your grip. You can adjust the grip size, the colors, and you want to turn these things on like they're shown here now. So show grips, show tips, dynamic menu, those kinds of things. Okay, so that's if they get turned off for whatever reason, that's how you turn them back on. So let's look at it. We've got a line here, and if I go to the menu, I get stretch and lengthen, and these two work differently. Now with a line, if you grab the center one, you're moving the entire line, okay? But it stays in the same orientation as you had. Okay. If I grab the end, then I can rotate and lengthen one, either way. Now, maybe, especially when we're dealing with center lines, and here's, we'll go ahead and throw a little tip in here for center lines. For drawing your own, and we'll say that's a center line on the center layer, and you want it to extend outside the object a certain distance. So you can select it and then use the lengthen command, and then you tell it how far out you want to go. So we'll go 1/4 of an inch out. And then you would do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, so that's using the grips and the lengthen command. There's also a lengthen command that you could use. So you would type in LEN, lengthen, and then you select an object. And you can give it a total length, or you can do a dynamic on that. Okay, so that was the lengthen. If we do the stretch, well, it's just like grabbing the end of the line. We can rotate it and drag it around. All right, so a polyline. Let's look at that. Here we've got two different types of grips. We've got the squares at the corners, and then the dashes or rectangles in the middle. If I grab the dash, it's basically like moving it, but it stretches the other parts that are with it. If I grab the ends, just like with a line, I can rotate and adjust the length of it. Okay. And a rectangle is basically a closed polyline. So it works the same here. I can drag it, and this is moving it. This, is rotating and resizing it. So let's look at a circle. If I grab the center, which would be the base point, then I'm moving it. But if I grab one of the outside ones, I'm increasing the size of it. Okay. And it's pretty much the same thing with the arc. Here we've got the base point that I can move it, but then the other ones I can adjust the length and the radius of the thing. All right, so I know that was a lot of heavy duty stuff there. That's pretty simple. We can use the grips to move things, to lengthen them, to stretch them, move them back. Another one, maybe you want to move an object, but you want to be real careful of how you're moving it. And so what I can do is there's a nudge command. And to use the nudge command, you hold down your control key on the keyboard and then use one of the arrows and then use the arrow keys to move it. Okay. Now in AutoCAD, you have to hold down the control key and then use the arrow keys to do that. And if you have snap to grid turned off, I think it moves it like 2 pixels on the screen. So the further you zoom in, it looks more accurate. If you have snap to grid turned on, it will move it whatever your snap to grid setting is. Okay, and that's it for grips. Okay.